To understand why the law of attraction seems to hold such a mysterious and potent power over the human experience, we must first strip away the layers of magic and superstition that usually surround it. We need to stop looking at it as a cosmic vending machine, where you make a wish and the universe delivers a prize, and start looking at it for what it really is, which is a user's manual for the human brain. The reason this concept has survived for thousands of years, appearing in ancient philosophy, religious texts, and modern psychology under many different names, is that it describes a fundamental truth about how our biological machinery interacts with the world around us. It is powerful not because it changes the world outside of you by magic, but because it changes the world inside of you by design. When you change the internal world, your thoughts, your beliefs, your emotions, and your expectations, you automatically alter the way you behave, the way you speak, and the way you perceive reality. And when you change your behavior and your perception, the world responds to you differently. It is a cause and effect relationship that begins in the invisible realm of the mind and ends in the tangible realm of material results. The first and most important mechanic to understand is the filter in your brain. At any given moment, your five senses are picking up millions of bits of information. You hear the hum of the refrigerator, you feel the fabric of your clothes against your skin, you see the light reflecting off the wall, you smell the coffee from the kitchen. If your conscious mind tried to process all of this information at once, you would be completely overwhelmed. You wouldn't be able to function. So, your brain has a very sophisticated filtering system called the reticular activating system, or RAS for short. This system acts like a bouncer at a nightclub. Its job is to keep out 99% of the noise and only let in the 1% of information that is important to you. The critical question, then, is how does the bouncer decide what is important? It decides based on what you focus on. It decides based on what you believe. This is where the law of attraction begins to work its mechanical magic. If you wake up in the morning and think that life is hard, money is scarce, and people are mean, you have just given your RAS a set of instructions. You have told the bouncer to only look for pain, poverty, and rudeness. Throughout your day, you might walk past 100 smiling people, but you won't notice them because your filter is set to ignore them. However, the moment one person gives you a dirty look, your brain will zoom in on it, highlight it, and magnify it. You will come home and say, "See, I was right, people are mean." You found exactly what you were looking for because your brain deleted everything else. But if you wake up and decide that opportunities are everywhere and that people are generally kind, you reprogram the filter. You walk down the same street, but this time your brain ignores the grumpy person and instead highlights a "help wanted" sign you never noticed before. Or it picks up on a snippet of conversation that gives you a new idea, or it notices a stranger smiling at you. The reality didn't change. The street is the same street. But your experience of the reality changed completely because your filter allowed a different set of data to enter your consciousness. The law of attraction is powerful because it gives you control over this filter. By choosing your thoughts intentionally, you are choosing what you see in the world. Beyond simple attention, this law taps into the deep power of identity. There is a rule in psychology that says humans have a desperate need to be consistent with how they view themselves. If you view yourself as a victim, as someone who is unlucky, your subconscious mind will work very hard to make sure your reality matches that view. It sounds crazy, but if you get a lucky break, or if someone treats you really well, you might actually feel uncomfortable. You might self-sabotage. You might ruin the opportunity or push the person away because that success conflicts with your identity as a victim. Your brain likes to be right more than it likes to be happy. It wants the world on the outside to match the map on the inside. The law of attraction uses this mechanism in your favor. When you spend time visualizing the life you want, when you affirm to yourself that you are capable, wealthy, loved, or healthy, you are slowly upgrading the map on the inside. You are building a new identity. At first, it feels like pretending. It feels fake. But the brain struggles to tell the difference between a vivid imagination and a real memory. If you visualize yourself giving a confident speech over and over again, feeling the emotions of pride and excitement, Your brain lays down neural pathways as if you had actually done it. You are practicing success in the theater of your mind. Eventually, this new identity becomes your normal. Once your brain accepts that you are a confident speaker, or a wealthy person, or a healthy athlete, it will start to drive you toward behaviors that match that identity. You will naturally stand straighter. You will naturally make better financial decisions. You will naturally choose the salad over the fries. You aren't forcing yourself. You are simply acting in accordance with who you now believe you are. The power comes from the alignment of your subconscious identity with your conscious desires. This leads us to the concept of the self-fulfilling prophecy, which is the engine of the law of attraction. Our beliefs are not passive observations, they are active architects. Let's look at a social example. If you believe that you are socially awkward and that people don't like you, how do you behave at a party? You probably stand in the corner, you cross your arms, you avoid eye contact, you look unapproachable. Because you look unapproachable, nobody talks to you. And because nobody talks to you, you go home and say, "See, nobody likes me." Your belief created the behavior, and the behavior created the result. Now, imagine you use the law of attraction to change that belief. You visualize yourself as charismatic and warm. You tell yourself that people find you interesting. You walk into the same party with a different energy. You smile. You make eye contact. You ask people questions because you aren't afraid of their reaction. Because you are open and friendly, people come talk to you. You have a great time. You go home and say, "See, people really do like me." The only thing that changed was the initial belief. But that belief rippled out to change the entire trajectory of the night. The law of attraction is also powerful because it shifts your focus from the problem to the solution. Most people spend their entire lives fixated on what is wrong. They talk about their debt, their illness, their loneliness, or their stress. Whatever you focus on expands, not because of magic, but because you are dedicating your mental resources to it. If you are staring at the problem, you have your back turned to the solution. The law of attraction demands that you focus on the end result you desire. It asks you to focus on abundance, health, and love. When you do this, your brain stops looping on the disaster and starts scanning for the exit. It shifts you from a state of anxiety, which shuts down the creative centers of the brain, to a state of hope and curiosity, which opens them up. When you are in a positive state of mind, you are smarter. You are more creative. You are better at solving problems. You see paths that were invisible to you when you were drowning in negativity. There is also a deeply social aspect to this power. Human beings are wired with mirror neurons. We are incredibly sensitive to the energy and emotions of the people around us. We can feel when someone is desperate, angry, or resentful, and our instinct is to pull away from them. Desperation is a repellent. On the other hand, we are magnetically drawn to people who are confident, joyful, and grateful. We want to be around their light. When you practice the law of attraction, you are essentially managing your own emotional vibration. You are choosing to cultivate feelings of gratitude and excitement before the reason for them has even arrived. This makes you magnetic. People want to hire you, date you, help you, and befriend you because you make them feel good. You attract resources and opportunities simply by being a person who is pleasant to be around. It looks like luck, but it is actually emotional intelligence in action. Furthermore, the law of attraction forces you to get clear on what you actually want. This sounds simple, but it is rare. Most people walk through life with a vague sense of dissatisfaction. They know what they don't want. They don't want to be broke. They don't want to be lonely, but they have never clearly defined what they do want. The universe, or your own subconscious mind, cannot hit a target that it cannot see. By asking you to visualize your future in specific detail, the law of attraction forces you to define the target. It forces you to make choices. Do you want the city, apartment, or the house in the country? Do you want the corporate career or the creative freedom? Once you make these decisions and lock onto a target, your brain's guidance system kicks in. You start to unconsciously steer your life in that direction. You stop wasting time on things that don't fit the picture. You become efficient. Clarity is power, and the law of attraction is a tool for radical clarity. We must also consider the role of resilience. Life is hard. There will be obstacles, failures, and setbacks. The person who does not believe in their own power, the person who has a negative mindset, sees an obstacle as a stop sign. They think, "This proves I can't do it," and they quit. The person who practices the law of attraction, who has a deep, unshakable belief that their success is inevitable, sees an obstacle as a detour. They think, "This is just part of the story where I overcome a challenge." This mindset creates grit. It creates persistence. If you believe the destination is guaranteed, you don't mind walking through a storm to get there. You keep moving when others would have given up. And in a competitive world, the person who keeps moving is usually the person who wins. The law of attraction gives you the emotional fuel to endure the hard times without losing sight of the goal. It is also important to understand that this is not about sitting on a couch and wishing for $1 million to fall into your lap. That is a misunderstanding of the law. It is about inspired action. When you change your thoughts and your energy, you get ideas. You get an impulse to call someone, to drive down a different street, to sign up for a class, to write an email. These impulses feel different than the heavy, obligatory to-do lists of the past. They feel exciting. They feel right. The law of attraction works because it aligns your action with your intuition. You are no longer fighting against the current. You are swimming with it. You are taking actions that are high leverage because they are coming from a place of alignment and clarity. You are doing less but accomplishing more because you aren't wasting energy on doubt, fear, and hesitation. Consider the concept of acting as if. The law suggests that you should act as if you already have what you want. This is a powerful psychological hack. If you want to be a leader, you don't wait until you have the title to act like one. You start acting like a leader today. You take responsibility, you speak with confidence, you help others. By acting as if you are already a leader, you demonstrate to the world that you are ready for the role. You signal your competence. People start to treat you like a leader, and eventually, the title follows the behavior. If you wait for the title to change your behavior, you will wait forever. You have to be the person before you can have the things. The law of attraction reminds you that the having is a result of the being. The law also helps to dismantle the limiting beliefs that you inherited from your childhood. We all carry around stories about how the world works, that money is evil, that love hurts, that you have to work yourself to death to be worthy. These stories act as a glass ceiling. No matter how hard you work, you will never rise above your own belief system. The practice of the law of attraction is a process of auditing these stories. You look at them and ask, is this true? Does this serve me? If the answer is no, you rewrite the story. You choose to believe that money is a tool for good, that love is safe, that you are worthy simply because you exist. When you shatter the glass ceiling in your mind, you are suddenly free to fly higher in your reality. You stop sabotaging yourself because you no longer believe you are breaking the rules of your own existence. Think about the placebo effect in medicine. If you give a sick person a sugar pill but tell them it is a powerful medicine, a significant percentage of the time, they will get better. Their belief that they are being healed triggers the body's own healing mechanisms. The mind convinces the body to repair itself. The law of attraction is the placebo effect applied to your entire life. If you truly believe that your life is getting better, that opportunities are coming, and that you are supported, your mind and body will respond by creating the conditions for that to be true. You will have more energy, less stress, and a stronger immune system. You will be more open to connection and less prone to depression. Your belief acts as a biological command. Finally, the law of attraction is powerful because it restores a sense of agency. In a chaotic world, it is easy to feel helpless, like a leaf blowing in the wind. This feeling of helplessness is the root of anxiety and despair. The law of attraction hands you back the steering wheel. It tells you that you are not a victim of your circumstances, but a creator of them. Even if you cannot control every event that happens to you, you can control your response, your attitude, and your focus. This shift in perspective is empowering. It gives you dignity. It allows you to move through the world with your head high, knowing that you are an active participant in the unfolding of your destiny. It transforms life from something that is done to you into something that is done by you. So, when we ask why the law of attraction is powerful, we are really asking why the human mind is powerful. It is powerful because it is the lens through which we experience everything. If the lens is cracked and dirty with negativity and fear, the world looks broken and scary. If the lens is clear and polished with hope, gratitude, and belief, the world looks bright and full of potential. The law of attraction is simply the daily practice of cleaning the lens. It is the discipline of choosing thoughts that serve you rather than thoughts that destroy you. It is the courage to believe in a future that you cannot yet see, and the wisdom to know that believing in it is the first step toward building it. It works because you work. It works because when you change the inside, the outside has no choice but to follow.